Brothers and sisters, if you really cared, you would have prepared. If you really cared, you would have prepared. Fill in the blank as you see fit. If you really cared for Jum'ah, you would have prepared. If you really cared for Ramadan, you would have prepared. If you really cared for Hajj, you would have prepared. If you really cared for Umrah, you would have prepared. If you really cared for this meeting, you would have prepared. If you really cared for this job, you would have prepared. If you really cared, you would have prepared. Obviously, we are just less than a few weeks, a couple of weeks away from the blessed month of Ramadan. Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. May Allah Azza wa Jalla allow us to live to see its entrance and to be forgiven through it. Allahumma ameen. But before I talk about that, I want to actually use the example of the ritual that we are participating in right now, which is Salatul Jumu'ah. There are those who will miss Salatul Jumu'ah altogether today somewhere in the world. Maybe here and in other places. Why? Because they stayed up all last night. They slept maybe after Salatul Fajr. They set their alarms. They got up. The thawb that they were going to wear, they forgot to clean it. So they have to go and try to figure out how to clean the thawb. They forgot to arrange for themselves a ride or whatever it may be. And maybe they were sitting around and they were doing other things and they said, I've still got time. And it hit just 20 minutes before Salatul Jumu'ah and they said, oh no, wait, now I have to. But then they weren't able to get something essential to come to Salah. Or maybe they got stuck in traffic because they aimed, or they will aim, for catching not the khutbah, but catching the iqamah. And they always aim to catch the iqamah, but this time they're going to miss the iqamah. And they're going to miss the salah. There are many people in the world that are intending to get to Jum'ah before the iqamah. They will miss the iqamah, they will miss the salah, and they will be sinful. And they'll say, oh, it was traffic. Oh, it was this. Oh, it was that. And Allah Azza wa Jal will know whether or not their excuse is valid. There are those who aim to catch some of the khutbah. And they might miss the whole khutbah and catch the iqamah. There are those who always play with the time that the imam says Salamu Alaikum because they time themselves to get to the salah right when the imam stands on the minbar to say Assalamu Alaikum. And if they're 1 minute off their usual routine, they miss the imam saying Salamu Alaikum, so they miss the adhan. So what did the Prophet ﷺ say? We're not talking about sinfulness here. The angels have their roll book in front of the masjid. They're taking the names of all those that are entering in. Once the imam stands on the minbar to say Assalamu Alaikum, the roll book closes. And if that makes those of you that came late feel bad, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. The roll book closes. You missed your name in the scroll of the angels, of those who would be forgiven for the week. Okay, pay attention to this hadith now. There are those that not only make sure that they are here on time for the adhan, but they also engage in the sunan before the adhan. In an authentic hadith from Al-Aws ibn Aws, the Prophet ﷺ said, Man ightasala yawm al-jum'ah, whoever takes his shower yawm al-jum'ah, wa ghassala wa bakkara wa abtakara, they took their shower, they prepared themselves, they left early and they arrived early. They left early and they arrived early. وَدَنَا وَاسْتَمَعَ وَأَنصَتَ, and they came close and they listened and they were quiet. They came close to the imam, they listened and they were quiet. كَانَ لَهُ بِكُلِّ خَطْوَةٍ يَخْطُوهَا أَجْرُ سَنَةٍ صِيَامُهَا وَقِيَامُهَا. Every step that they took to the masjid, Allah Azza wa Jal writes for them a year of siyam, of fasting, a year of qiyamul layl. How many steps did you take to get to the masjid today? Taqabbal Allah, may Allah Azza wa Jal from each and every single one of you who followed the sunnah. Allahumma ameen. 20, 30 steps. You know, you have step trackers, right? Did I take 300 steps, 400 steps from my house to the car to the masjid? How many steps? Calculate that by years of qiyam, years of siyam. We're not talking about Laylatul Qadri khayru min alfi shahr. I'm saying that there are some people that get 1,000 years of qiyam every time they come to Salatul Jumu'ah, before the khutbah even starts, for things they did before the khutbah even started. Why? Because they prepared. And if you cared, if you really cared, you would have prepared. And I want us to use this analogy of Jumu'ah to Ramadan and to everything else. You know, when you go to Hajj and Umrah, you have people that don't know the dua of entering into the masjid. And they're doing Umrah. And they're asking the most basic questions about tawaf and ihram. Come out in their ihram, and they're wearing something that so obviously, violates the ihram. Coming out, mashallah, in their sneakers and, wearing, put some cologne, some perfume on their ihram, came to Mecca, took a shower, perfume, did some basic things. Some people that shave. I'm not talking about ignorance. I'm talking about someone that just didn't bother to attend a lecture before Umrah or read a book before Umrah. Shave their beard in ihram so that they can look fresh when they enter into the haram. What do I say now? It's tawaf. What do I say now? It's sa'i. I'm not mocking this, by the way. I'm saying, if we were the ones that were accounting for that Umrah or Hajj, and as a murshid, I'm like, didn't you bother to read a book? This is a journey that's more important than any other journey in your life. Didn't you bother to listen to the lecture that we gave you about how to prepare for ihram? All right, one forgetful moment, you got shocked, something happened, you got overwhelmed, but I didn't know? Is that really a valid excuse for you at that point? Ramadan comes. The bare minimum, the bare basic. Analogize this example of Jumu'ah to everything else. There are some people that will be forgiven before Ramadan even starts. Shahrul Maghfirah, Shahrul Rahmah, the month of forgiveness and mercy. There are some people that will be forgiven before it even starts. Because when that hilal is seen, that person would have already met Allah Azza wa Jal with an earnest heart. Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. Already repenting for sins that they know they shouldn't have been committing. Already have a schedule that's cleared out for Ramadan. Already accounting for all types of things. What are the equivalent of the footsteps to Jum'ah when it comes to Ramadan? What are the footsteps to Ramadan? What is the khatwa to Ramadan? What is the khatwa to Hajj? What is the khatwa to Umrah? What are the things that you did before that are a proof? Because in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, preparation is a proof. Preparation is a proof that you care. By the way, even with our own relationships, if you have a job interview and someone is coming to the job interview and they forgot some of the most essential things, they showed up 5 minutes late to the job interview, in your mind, you're not taking this job seriously. You don't really care about this job. You're not really trying to prepare. If you have an important meeting on the calendar, but then you show up 10 minutes late on Zoom in your bed and you say, wait. That means that my meeting was not a priority to you. Preparation is proof. If you cared, you would have prepared. Listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the hypocrites in Tabuk. You remember in Tabuk, people came to the Prophet ﷺ and they put forth all sorts of excuses.